So this lesson we're going to look at water composition and treatment. So you're going to do this on your class notebook. So as I go through the video, you can fill in the class notebook and the answers. So we're going to have today's date, which is going to be dydd Mawrth, and it's going to be the 12th of January, you're now. Okay, and then your title is going to be water composition and treatment, keywords, dissolved gases, sedimentation, filtration and chlorination. And then you've got then your do now, which is define the term element and define the term compound. So you can press pause now to answer the questions, and then I will go through it for you. Okay, so let's go through the answers quickly. So define the term element. So an element, a bit slow, an element is a substance made up of one type of atom. Okay, and then we've got number 2, so define the term compound. So a compound then is a substance made up of 2 or more types. Okay, so that's what we looked at before we broke up for Christmas. So compounds are substance made up of 2 or more types of atoms. So an example of that would be like carbon dioxide, CO2, because we have then C is carbon and O oxygen, so 2 types. So water treatment, and this is on your actual notebook for you. Okay, I'm just going to read through it so you can read it because it's a bit blurry on here. So it says the number of sources of water which can be treated to provide drinking water. These include groundwater from rocks that trap water underground. This contains ions such as magnesium, calcium, sodium and potassium. We looked at this last lesson. These ions come from minerals in the rocks. Then we have rainwater, which is from the rain, and this contains dissolved gases such as carbon dioxide and oxygen, and when CO2 dissolves in water, it lowers the pH of the water. Okay. Water sources contain man-made pollutants like pesticides, fertilizers and household industrial waste. As well as man-made pollutants, water can also contain natural pollutants like bacteria and viruses from microorganisms. And there's a demand for sustainable water. Fresh water is crucial to humans, not just for drinking, but also for farming and industry. The global population is increasing, so there's an even greater need for water. Because of this, water is expected to become more scarce, with water shortages being possible. Climate change also increases risk of droughts, which makes water shortages more likely. As the demand for water goes up, so will the price. So to make our water supply more sustainable and affordable, we need to reduce our water consumption. We also need to collect and treat our water in ways that they don't damage the environment. So on your sheet then press pause, and then from the information that we have just read, can you answer the following questions? What is rainwater? What is groundwater? What is water used for, and what is increasing the risks of drought? So you can press pause, and then I'll go through the answers in a minute with you. Okay, so let's then go through the answers. So we've got what is rainwater? Okay, and it is water from rain, and it includes dissolved gases. Then we've got groundwater. What is groundwater? So it's water that's from rocks, so water that's gone through rocks, and it contains then different chemicals like our calcium, magnesium and our potassium. What is used for? It's used in industry and farming. And then what's increasing the risk of a drought? So a drought then is a period of time where there's no rain. Okay, and what is increasing the risk, and the risk has been increased, is climate change. Okay, so climate change is increasing the risk of our droughts and to limit the amount of water that we have available to us. So we're going to look at water treatment. I thought the easy way to do it if I draw it. So, and then you can answer then questions on it. So as you know, we get a water. It's got many things inside, things we don't want like bacteria, pollutants, etc. So every single bit of water is treated. So essentially it goes to Welsh Water in Wales. And the first thing that happens is the water comes in. There's water coming, oh, it's froze, water comes in. And essentially it goes into a filter. Okay, so we have a process which is called filtration. Okay, and the water is filtered, and what the process here does is that it removes the big particles or substances in our water. Okay, it removes all the big stuff, removes the things we don't want, the big things we don't want. From there then, from that filter, from the filtration tank, the water then moves and it goes into, oops, frozen, a sedimentation tank. Oop, it's not going to fit. There we go. Then we have sedimentation, okay? And what sedimentation does, it removes the fine, small particles in our water. Okay, so it removes the small bits. Okay, then from there, then we're taking everything out that we don't need. Okay, it then goes through into a chlorination tank. Okay, and essentially chlorination is that we add chlorine to the water. And we add it slightly to the water, okay, just enough. And the reason we add it to the water because it's to kill any microorganisms. So if you're not sure what a microorganism is, a microorganism is a bacteria or a virus, etc. Okay, so you put the chlorine in the water just to make sure that we kill any microorganisms. We don't want them in our water. Okay, right, very quickly then, if you press pause, complete the flow chart to describe the process of water treatment. Nice and simple. You've got to put it into the correct order and then define the 3 processes for me. So you can press pause and then we can go through that in a second. Okay, so let's just go through the answers. I know it's on the previous slide for you. Okay, but just we've got it. So the first process we have filtration. Then we have sedimentation. And then we have chlorination. Okay, and every bit of water in your house is clean drinking water. So filtration, okay, it's removing the big particles. Sedimentation, removing the fine small particles. And then we have chlorination, where we add chlorine to kill microorganisms. Okay, and that's all we need to know for that bit. Then we're going to look at fluorination in our water, okay? And fluorination is where we add fluorine into our water. And there are many advantages and disadvantages of fluorination, which we're going to look at now. The main advantage, though, is that it prevents tooth decay, okay? And the main disadvantage is that it can cause certain cancers if it's at too high a level, okay? So what you're going to do now on your class notebook, you can see a table where it says advantages and it says disadvantages. What I want you to do okay, is to read these statements. I'm going to make it bigger for you now, okay? And then I want you then, if you could write down the statements into whether it's an advantage adding chlorine into the water or whether it's a disadvantage adding chlorine into the water, okay? And I will go through it now for us, okay? And then we'll have a little look at it, okay? So, okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got the table here, okay, but before I do that, just to make it easier, I'm going to highlight on here if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, and then I can put it into the table for us, okay? So we'll do pink, let's do a little key, pink here as an advantage, and then we can do, I don't know, yellow as our disadvantage. Okay, so let's go through all the advantages first, so we can see. So it says, this part is actually missing part of the sentence and I don't know why. It says that 50% of the population in this country do not, and it's meant to be do not own a toothbrush, which is quite gross. Anyway, I own a toothbrush. So would we say that's an advantage or disadvantage? It's going to be a disadvantage then because they're not going to be cleaning their teeth. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight this as a disadvantage. I know I can put it into my table. Then the next one says fluoride does not prevent all forms of tooth decay. So that's a disadvantage because it's not going to prevent everything from happening. The next one says dental decay increases water fluoridation in the community is stopped for more than a year, even if fluoride toothpaste is used. So it says that when so it's saying we put it into water. If we then take it out of water, it then increases our tooth decay. Okay, so there's a disadvantage then. So once it's in our water, we don't want to take it back out of our water. We then have you cannot control whether you cannot choose whether you have fluoride in your water. Disadvantage because everyone should have a right to what's in their water. 98% of Western Europe has rejected water fluoridation. Fluoridation protests against dental decay throughout life, benefiting both children and adults. Fluoridation protests against dental decay throughout life, benefiting, well, that's an advantage. Studies show in the US that fluoride may make you less intelligent. That's a disadvantage then. We do get less intelligent. In poor areas, there are terrible rates of decay and toothache without fluoridation. There's an advantage as to why we should have it in our water. Then we've got fluoride is a mutagen and may cause cancer. Disadvantage. Fluoride is toxic. The amount of 1 tube of fluoride toothpaste can kill a baby. So there's a disadvantage. Then we've got tooth decay or dental decay is an infectious disease and a real health problem. So there's the advantage because we want to get rid of the health problem for us. Dietary fluoride supplements are available only by prescription. As a disadvantage. And then fluoride occurs naturally in water. So it's naturally in our water, so it doesn't matter if we add some more in. So there's an advantage for us. So now we're going to put that into our table. Okay, so let's go. So we've got poor areas, higher tooth decay. Then it's natural in water. Anyway, what else did it say? Tooth decay is a health issue. So if we can do anything to remove it, it's a benefit to us. And then we had it prevents dental decay. Okay, and then disadvantages, there were more of them. Doesn't, can we be the yellow? Prevent all test okay. Oh, I'm going to run out of room. You can write this in black. I think the yellow's going to be too light. Then we've got, you cannot choose whether to have it. Then we've got Europe rejected it. And then you make you wonder why. Then we've got can make you less intelligent. It's toxic, and it's toxic enough in high doses that it can kill a baby. Can cause cancer. And then we have only available by prescription. Okay, so that's what we are looking at there. Right, and that is it for the lesson for the moment, just looking at the fluoridation. So well done for completing this all. I will be checking your work to make sure that it is done and it has all been filled in. And then I will see you next lesson. Thank you, Year 10.